Happy Information Wednesday, Chalyce McQueen here. For my teaser video, I'm talking all about off-road toys today and the common and costly insurance mistakes I see time and time again. In honor of those costly insurance mistakes, I really only have one word for you, and it's liability. And in the honor of liability, I want to talk about what those mistakes look like and how they can, of course, leave you with the exposure. The first insurance mistake I see constantly is people assuming that their traditional auto policy extends to their off-road vehicles. And the reality is it does not. If you took the time to read your policy document, which you will not, you're going to notice all the exclusions, and this would be one of them. So it's so important to make sure that you have a separate policy specific to this off-road vehicle that's going to give you the protection you need for bodily injury, property damage, and under and uninsured for your protection, and of course any extras that you want, such as comp and collision. Number two is people a lot of times underestimate their coverage. So without having the separate policy, as I mentioned, you're not going to have the comp and collision that you need. And not all of these off-road vehicles require registration. Of course, when a vehicle is required to be registered, you automatically are required to maintain insurance, not necessarily comp and collision though. So it is important that you spend the money and have those endorsements on your policy, because without them, you will have zero coverage or protection to repair or replace said vehicle. Number three, most insurance companies don't know about your modifications. So a lot of people will pay $30,000 for a standard Polaris, so to speak, and then they add $10,000 in modifications, whether it's turbocharging, adding all the bells and whistles, accessories, and then guess what? They forget to tell their insurance agent, and the value that they are going to receive in the event they have a total loss is not exactly what they have into it. So it's so important that you make sure that you have your modifications and the money you spent on those modifications accounted for. Number four, discounts. Without talking to your insurance agent, you might have discounts you may be eligible for that you may have no idea about. So it's important, of course, talk to an insurance expert like me, not only to give you a proper quote for your protection, but also make sure that all of your bases are covered and you have a premium that makes sense with all discounts applied. And I'll keep those discounts in my pocket until you give me a call, but there definitely are some worthwhile that you have no idea about. So 1 through 4 definitely sums up our conversation for today. Again, I'm an insurance expert. I know a lot of us utilize these off-road vehicles. They're very popular here in Lake Havasu. And so it's important that you make sure you have your bases covered with the proper liability limits, only for your protection, but for someone else's. Obviously, the whole goal of insurance is to make sure that you are not personally held liable and that someone else pays the bill, not you. So with that said, give me a call at 602-525-5665 or check us out at gotprotectionaz.com. Remember to ask yourself, are you protected? We'll see you next week.